pray together. Come love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. Whether you're black or white or gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Good morning, Claremont Center for Spiritual Living. How are you this morning? We got a lot of energy over here in the music corner. Jeff's rocking out to the song. Glad to see you. I'm Reverend Tracy and delighted to welcome you to our Sunday gathering of lovely lights in the world. That's what we are, and we come together every week to remind ourselves of just that and to know that we hold the light for all, that our consciousness contributes to that cultural, field of energy, and how good it is to come together and to feed that field with positive energy, with an awareness of how good life can be, of how powerful we are to make changes in life as life. So welcome, and give yourselves a little credit for showing up today. Say hi to our friends online. They too show up today. What we know is that they are here and very much a part of this community. And it is just a lovely gathering of souls, of energy, of light, of love. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a great morning set up for you this morning. Our practitioner on platform is actually the Reverend Mary Cordova-Breen. And in addition to our rockin' out keyboardist, Jeff Harrison, we welcome back Tina Meeks. And we start with the bowl. That's it. I remember now. Woo! You know, from one Sunday to the next, things might change in the middle. You just don't know. We're going to start by centering ourselves in that greater truth that we are speaking of. So I invite you to take a breath and close your eyes wherever you may be and let the sound of the bowl take you within. For that tone is a reminder that within us is a place of peace. Within us is the knowledge that we are all part of the wholeness of life. So as we sit quietly and breathe, we recognize that every breath we take, we go deeper into that recognition of the spirit within. That energy that flows through us is that same energy that flows through each and every person on this planet. And as we, like leaves on that tree, as Reverend Tracy has been speaking to us about, as we as those leaves on the tree soak in that sunshine, that sunlight, that light, that energy, that love that we feel passes through all of the branches on this tree. We begin this morning in recognizing our oneness with the person sitting here in the sanctuary with us, with our neighbors in the mosque and in the temples, and with the peoples abroad who are experiencing deep troubles in their lives. We are all one. So as we sit in recognition of that oneness, of that peace, and of that gratitude for God in our lives, we know that this knowledge, this feeling, this love spreads out from us. And so we take just a moment to experience that oneness.
So just breathe again. And so we begin this morning. Come on back into your seats if you're not there yet. So good morning. Good morning, everyone. My reading today comes from a message from our home office, the Centers for Spiritual Living. And it explains, as we explore the power of the paradox as CSL's global theme this month, we are also aware that war and peace form the biggest paradox of all. How do we continue to know peace in the midst of war? We cannot move towards a more peaceful world until we address the underlying causes of violence, inequity, injustice, colonialism, and oppressions of all forms. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, declared, "The promise that comes from practicing a conscious sense of union with the divine is a deep, abiding peace, even in the midst of personal or planetary changes. We can create a spiritual chain reaction which can bring peace in the midst of chaos." So what can we do? We can unite in focusing the energy of love to bring peace to Israel, Palestine, to the Ukraine, and to all areas of the planet where there is no peace through the creation of a spiritual chain reaction. Allow the energies of peace, love, and harmony to rise up and become strong. Peace begins at the center of our own being, where instead of moving to fear, anger, or anxiety, we focus on the greater powers of love, peace, and harmony. We hold space for peace to be realized. We convene peace vigils, prayer calls, and read sacred texts while also engaging in sacred activism. We band together to remind each other that there is an infinite and divine creative force of life that is wholeness and truth. We stay in constant prayer without ceasing to remember what we know, rekindle our sometimes dwindling faith, and can continue to seek the light amid the dark abyss. And so it is. Thanks.
Good morning, everybody. Can I hear a little more in this? Thank you. You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. You think the only people who are people are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn the things you never knew, Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon? Or ask the grinning bobcat why he grinned? Can you sing with all the colors of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? run the hidden pine trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. Come roll in all the riches all around you. And for once, never wonder what they're worth. The rainstorm and the otter are my brothers. The heron and the river are my friends. And we are all connected to each other. In a circle, in a hoop that never ends. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon? Or asked that grinning bobcat why he grinned? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? How high doth the sycamore grow? If you cut it down, then you'll never know. And you'll never hear the wolf cry to the blue corn moon. Or whether we are white or copper skinned, you want to sing with all the voices of the mountain. You want to paint with all the colors of the wind. You can own the earth and still all you ever own until you can paint with all the colors of the wind. Ooh.
And this morning we light our candle for peace. The title today is There Is No Them. And I'm going to start with a story by one of my favorite writers, bloggers, Sarah Tuttle Singer. She's a native of Venice, California, but she lives now with her 2 children in Israel. She writes for the Israeli Times. And today she wrote, "There is no limit to how many times my heart can break. I've shifted past anger, just so sad right now. I'm just so sad. And my way of coping now, besides just telling you that I'm crushed down to sprinkles and dust, is to share old stories. Stories of moments of connection, of faith, of friendship." So from October 2022, a year ago. Over the past several days, tensions between Arabs and Jews have embroiled parts of Jerusalem, but we went out anyway. We went to the first station, which once was a train station built by the Ottomans to connect the holy city of Jerusalem to the port city of Jaffa. It's now an open-air spot with restaurants and food stands and a Biratenu bear garden. And there's a few carnival rides for the kids and sometimes live music. And it's also a place connecting all the different communities in our holy city, which is one of the reasons I love it. On the way to get a beer, I saw a Jewish family to my left pushing a double stroller with 2 babies sleeping side by side in it, twins. To my right was a young man speaking Arabic to 2 little girls. One held his left hand, one held his right, same exact height, same curly hair, matching pink shirts and blue pants, twins. The Jewish parents saw the Arab father and crossed the path in front of me to fall in step beside him. He looked surprised, but smiled. Mazel tov, he said. Twins? Yes, the other father answered. Can you give us any advice? He rubbed his eyes and laughed. We haven't slept in almost 3 years, he said, but it's also so much fun. They continued to walk together and chat and then went their separate ways, the Arab father to the east, the Jewish parents to the west. Jerusalem can be full of pain at times, pain and fear and anger and despair, but today at the first station, there were only families and soft autumn light. This is how we're all connected. We find our affinity with one another. We speak from love. We speak as love. We choose to know the greater truth of ourselves so that we might show up in the world as that light, as that love, as that bridge of connection. And it's one heart to another, multiplied and multiplied and multiplied. We have to embody the idea that we are interconnected with all of life. We each express ourselves uniquely, some of you more uniquely than others, but the energy of life itself is common to us all. I read about a kindergarten teacher who, on the first day of school, some of the kids hadn't been in a classroom before, they were a little shy, and she played this game called Me Too. And so she would ask each kid in turn what their favorite thing was. So a little boy says dinosaurs, and then the deal was everybody else in class who also liked dinosaurs would say, me too. And so they went around the room and they each said what their favorite thing was, and all these different kids each time would say, me too, me too, me too. So as class started on the very first day, they already knew who had similar interests, who would be a good friend, who might know something else about dinosaurs that they too could learn. It's about finding common ground, whether it's twins or a spiritual community or a hobby or a place you live or a culture you grew up in. We have common ground with everyone in some way, even if it's buried deep below our differences, our different ideas of what life could be. We are all still interconnected. This month we've been talking about trees. And just as a tree is a part of the greater ecosystem, we too are a part of the greater whole of humanity. And when we remember that, we become part of that which nurtures life. I've talked about the mother tree before this month, but I want to revisit a couple points. In a healthy forest, there's always a matriarch. There's always a mother tree. It's an old growth tree that acts as a hub of nutrients, shared by trees of different ages and species. There's a huge underground network of fungi that transmits minerals and nutrients and messages, so to speak, between the trees. And the scientist that wrote the book about the mother tree, Suzanne Simard, says diversity matters. Each tree contributes something different. The trees are connected, they cooperate. They've got scientific experiments that show how things move between the plants. And she says there's a two-way carbon flow between a paper birch and a Douglas fir. Birch can provide fir with enough carbon to actually make seeds and reproduce, and the amount transferred depends on access to light. That is, a birch doles out resources based on need, not as a single one-size-fits-all fire hose stream. The more shade a birch casts over a fir, the more carbon is transferred to it to help it survive. Later, once the fir outgrows the birch and shades it, the energy flow is reversed. This is how we are with each other. If you have a best friend, you probably realize at some point that you complement each other. If you have a significant other in your life, you probably realize that you complement each other. I am in charge of all fine motor skills. My girl is in charge of all heavy lifting. It works for us. But it also works emotionally, and it works spiritually, and it works in the ways in which we think and approach the world, and how we remind each other, when we remember to say it out loud, how much we appreciate the gifts that others bring that maybe we ourselves are not strong in. And isn't it good that we do so? Isn't it good to realize that diversity matters in living a full and robust and healthy life? Now, this whole process of systems and interchange and complementarianism, it starts within us. If you think about your own self, your own inner life, there's a whole crowd of voices in your head, right? We are a multitude. We are part of many expressing one life. And within us, we can see that in ourselves. There are voices that tell us we're doing a great job, and then there's other voices that tell us we're not. And then everything in between. We've all, at the stage of life that we're in, we have all done some personal work to realize that there are parts of ourselves that maybe we didn't want to look at for a while, maybe that needed healing, that was repressed. Maybe there are parts of ourselves that we really like. Maybe we had to hide who we were in order to be accepted in our circle, in our culture. When we repress a part of ourselves, it creates dysfunction. When we become aware that we're doing that, or that we feel out of balance and we are aware of that, then we can begin to heal. You know, within us, we have always an evolving awareness. We're always growing in our understanding. We're always shifting our beliefs and our perspectives based on how we process the world, how much time we spend in healthy communities, how loving our relationships are, how well we feed ourselves with good ideas, with peaceful thoughts, with space to breathe. We all have within us gifts that blossom our whole life long. And the way we get to those things, the way we heal the parts of us that are shadow rather than light, the way that we bring ourselves to a more balanced state, is gently. It's being loving. It's having loving support and encouragement. It's a mentor, it's a therapist, it's a lover, it's a best friend, it's nature. It's anything that helps you to remember that you are part of a greater whole, that we are all part of a greater whole. If you think about the individual leaves on a tree, Pablo Casals said, if we think that we are one of the leaves on the tree, and the tree is all humanity, we cannot live without the others and without the tree. So one leaf to another may seem perfectly distinct and separate, yet both are attached to branches that lead to the same trunk, that go into the same earth, that draw the nutrients from the soil and the sunlight from the sky. We are not any less than that. That is the truth of us. And when we find inside of ourselves some intruder, some bias that our culture fed us or our family said was true, but we've decided later on that it's not, at least not for us, We realize we have a limited view of someone or something or someplace. We're able to break free from that when we remember that connection, when we remember that we are all of the same source. And we are able to heal that with our attention and intention. Because when we truly know that we are love, when we truly know that we are of the Spirit, that there is only one life, and that life belongs to all of us, then there is only love. There is only a way forward which nurtures life, which supports another, which responds with compassion and kindness to whatever is going on. We bring the peace to a situation. We bring the light to a situation. And when we are low, we hang out with the people who do that for us. And when we are strong, we shine. We shine for everyone. Nalini Nadkarni is a writer. She says there are many ways to inspire healing, all relating to the tree truth that everything is interconnected. We ourselves are trees. Each time we see a tree outside us or within us, we can remember that they reflect the truth, something deeply rooted, something with a strong trunk, something that sweeps the sky. So we're challenged to live together in harmony, peacefully, with a sense of connection, with a sense of love, a sanctuary for each heart. Doesn't matter if you're a birch or a fir or a Jew or an Arab, or you're black or brown or white. Holmes says that we are one of many. We are one even while we are many, and since each one of us is a part of the whole, if we seek to destroy each other, we only ultimately hurt ourselves. This is the great lesson of life. Thich Nhat Hanh calls it interbeing, as in interwoven, as in we are all woven together. There's no them. World peace begins with immediate peace. Don't think for a moment that your prayers don't help, that your own alignment with that sanctuary within doesn't have an effect on the world. You know the world has an effect on you. So what you do, what you put out there, what you send forth, the way in which you think and believe and act has an impact on the world. And it's a numbers game, folks. I really believe there are more of us who love than those who are so afraid that we fight. So don't stop believing. We have this because we have love, and love always wins. I have another short vignette for you from Israel as our closing. Woman writes, I'm Jewish. My neighbor Zahia is Palestinian Muslim. Today I brought her baklava, a homemade tea blend, and homemade soap, and a large orchid. She took me into her arms and we cried. We talked for a long, long time. Her husband served me Arabic coffee and she served me stuffed grape leaves. They sent me home with more grape leaves, lamb for Greg, a kafia, which is a head covering, and their last bag of cardamom coffee from Palestine. They talked about how nice Greg is for shoveling their snow. She said she would make kanafe, my favorite Palestinian dessert, for me. Stop making change theoretical and abstract. It is knocking on neighbors' doors and sharing coffee and sweets. It's telling each other stories. It's heart to heart, neighbor to neighbor. We are all human. We all want a place to call home and for our babies and grandmothers to be safe. Peace begins with me. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste. Peace. Please join me in a moment of centering. Within each heart there is a place of peace, for it is the truth of our being. There's an energy and a life flow which cannot be denied, expressing through and as each and every being. That invisible made visible in form, surrounding us, filling us, lifting us up. And in this place of life, in this place of energy, in this place of peace, we find our power. We find that love is a verb, that we act on, as, and from that. And as we do, we lift the consciousness of the planet. As we move and live and have our being in love, we are able to contribute to the healing of all that is dissonant, all that appears to be opposite. We bridge that gap between war and peace with understanding and compassion. And we find that we have the courage to step forward and speak our truth when it is called for, whether with one person, a crowd, or a nation. Peace, too, is a verb. It is something that we are, that we act upon, that we act from. And in this knowing that the truth of Spirit is our own truth, we find our power. Our roots sunk deep into the spiritual knowledge that we are all one. Our branches raised to the sky, knowing that there is always light that we can use to create more life, to create the very oxygen we breathe, which is love. And it is in this knowing I speak my word for peace, enveloping all areas that seem to be missing it in the moment, trusting and knowing that even there, even here, even now, Spirit is at work. I know, too, of the infinite possibilities for forward motion, for upward rising, for healing to happen. For Spirit knows many ways and no limits. And I trust that what we need to know becomes clear, that my next step opens up before me as it does for everyone. And so I simply speak a word of gratitude for the healing that has happened and that which will come, for the love and peace that is everywhere present and waiting only our recognition of it, and for the courage and energy to do what there is to be done to participate in the healing. For it is truly ours to do, and we do not do it alone. So in this consciousness of oneness, that universal mind, that spirit of all, I speak my gratitude and release my word, knowing it is done, and so it is. We have an affirmation. It's in your bulletin. And just a reminder, I remind you to keep it and use it during the week. Saying things out loud helps us to embody the truth that we want to know. So I'll read one line and ask you to repeat after me. I am connected through consciousness with all of life. I bring love and kindness to the world every day. Healing happens. And so it is. We welcome back Tina Meeks.
Thank you. Well,
Have you read the papers lately? Have you heard the news? Do you ever wonder if there's something you can do? Oh, be the change you wanna see. Now's the time to let it be. Starting here, starting now. Thank you. Trust your heart to show you how you can be the change. If you wanna see the change, you gotta be the change that you wanna see. Oh. Plant a flower and watch it grow. You will reap what you sow. Put that smile on your face and make the world a better place. You gotta be the change. If you wanna see a change, you gotta be the change that you wanna see. Oh. I believe it's possible to live in harmony. Yeah, yeah. Making music in a universal band. Yes, we can. Every tribe and every religion in every land, we can live together. Yes, we can. Oh, be the change. You gotta be the change. You gotta be the change that you wanna see. Yes, come on and be it, the change. If you wanna see it, the change, we all gotta be it, the change that we wanna see. Yes, oh, come on and be the change. You gotta see the change. You can be the change. Last time, be the change. We're gonna be the change. Thank you for the water.
Okay, then. Makes sense to me. How about you? Yeah, really great. Thank you. It was perfect today. Just perfect. All right, so you probably have some change in the bottom of your purse or your pocket, and you might want to donate it to your favorite spiritual community, which would be us. This is our time of giving and our acknowledgement of the gifts that we do receive and that which we are able to put out into the world. So starting off by just thanking you with a heart full of gratitude for all that you contribute, whether it's volunteer hours or financial contributions or just coming in and, tidying up the place. Thank you. And say thank you to each other. Say thank you to yourselves for being willing to put energy into something that you believe in so that it might be here to serve you. That's how this works. It's an exchange. So knowing that we cannot outgive God, that which we give will always come back to us multiplied. Let's say our prosperity affirmation together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous now. Those of you in the room, there are baskets in the back for you to put your contributions in. And if you're online, we have a donate button on our website and also in our weekly email. Okay, we have a few announcements. There's a couple things going on. Isn't that nice? It wasn't that long ago that we weren't able to gather together in person. And I will say that the one thing about that during that time was that our board meetings were really short. But now we have a lot to talk about and a lot to do. So here's what's going on today. Our breathing meditation will take place after the service with Ingrid here in the sanctuary at 12 o'clock. It's 20 minutes of pure delight, so do take advantage of that after you have your cookies and coffee with all of us out there in the foyer. You may have noticed there's a few extra treasures in the bookstore, so take a moment and browse. That besides books, there's some gifty things, there's some holiday things, and and besides, Diane gets lonely if you don't go in and talk to her, so, make sure you go in and talk to Diane. We have a little in-house business to take care of before I talk about all the things in the community. So we're going to do our volunteer extraordinaire for this month. Ed Graff, would you please come to the front? Oh my, yeah, no problem. Landed on my feet. It's a decent picture, huh? I was gonna give him the picture of you with your Starry Starry Night outfit on, but we decided that would be a little weird. We have a little gift for you. What the poster says is, every Sunday, every task, every time. That's kind of who this guy is. I don't know if you know that Ed has done, let's see, everything from sprinkler timers to building carts for heavy equipment, to bartending at the parties he and Susie host. He's an excellent bartender, hence the gift. Go ahead and open it.
I get to open it now?
Yes, you do.
It's drink related.
Bless you for being so amazing, is what the card says.
Okay,
And then,
oh my goodness.
well, then you have to open it because the card itself says, Mix,
Mix,
Sip,
Sip,
Hooray.
Hooray.
It's a gift card to Total Wine and More.
Yeah.
So enjoy the and more part of that. And
Oh, yeah.
thank you for all that you do.
I can't wait to share what I buy with this.
Good, we'll be there.
Come on over.
Thank you,
Y'all
Ed.
are welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much.
Ed, wait, Ed.
Stay up there for a minute. Susie's not here.
So we have to get a picture. Come stand by.
Oh.
I gotta take this picture.
Otherwise you'll hear all
It's
about
not
it.
gonna work.
I don't think you need me in that, you just get his
Wait a
picture.
minute. Get over here.
Oh, it's gonna, flowers, come on,
Come on.
You're gonna have to help me up.
I can do that.
Here we go.
All right, there we are.
All right.
By your little poster. You can move that over or move the music stand or something. Oh, there, she's gonna get it. Yeah, well.
Today was casual Sunday.
Yes, it was, yes.
Susie's not here, so I had to.
Thank you, Mickey, that was really good. Casual Sunday. Every Sunday is Casual Sunday if you'd like. I don't care what you show up in, just show up. It's really nice to see all of you, jammies or not. Yeah, don't challenge. All right, so we have a couple more things going on. We have a Wednesday evening belly dancing class taking place on site, taught by Marjani. She is amazing. There's a beginner class at 6 and 7, and then there's a more advanced class at 8 on Wednesday nights. Do come. It's really fun. If you've never belly danced, good. Come anyway. That's half the fun. I think you will enjoy it. We still have ongoing line dancing on Tuesday nights. You're welcome to come to that as well. That takes place in the hall, starting at 6 or 6:30. 6:30. You can tell I was missing a couple of lessons, but I'll be back. So 6:30 is beginning, 7:30 is advanced, and Anne-Marie is an excellent teacher. It's really fun. And we're getting really good at staying in straight lines and not kicking each other. It's really great. All right, we have a couple of events. One is we have flyers in the foyer for the Peace Walk, and I would like to just read to you what it says. Just so you know, we've had years of an annual Peace Walk between the mosque, the synagogue, and one of our churches. And so this is what we have. It was supposed to take place next Sunday. And this is what we have. Out of heartfelt grief for all those who have been killed and wounded in the continuing conflict in Israel and Palestine, and in recognition of those who are mourning,
we've decided to pause this year's Walk for Peace, scheduled for Sunday, October 22nd, especially out of concern for the safety of our Jewish and Muslim communities. For over 20 years, our group has worked together. That's the Inland Valley Working Group for Peace in the Middle East. Our group has worked together to promote peace and justice for both Israelis and Palestinians, and are still united in our commitment to work together for peace. We encourage everyone to reach out to the communities that are hurting and grieving and let them know you care and share their pain and sorrow. The community is invited to share in a prayer vigil on October 22nd instead of the walk at 4 p.m. at St. Ambrose Episcopal Church on Bonita in Claremont, followed by a community meal at 5 p.m. So if you would like to participate, if you were planning on the walk, rather than walking, we will simply meet at St. Ambrose at 4 o'clock for a vigil, and at 5 o'clock for a meal. You are welcome to one or both of those, whichever you prefer. This is a way for us to support one another and to demonstrate our unity and commitment to peace. So if you're planning on coming, these flyers are on the table out front in the foyer. Also coming up, sorry, I'm not used to this mic. Also coming up is our Fall Harvest Pop-Up. It's November 11th from 10 to 4. We are renting vendor spaces for $40 for anybody who wants to take all their little artsy, craftsy, or foodie items and put them on a table and sell them to the community. It's just like a little craft fair just for us. We'll be out here in the back area, some in the hall, maybe some in the parking lot, depends on how many people we have. But we are looking for vendors as well as buyers. So I know you're one or the other. So just plan on November 11th from 10 to 4. Flyers also in the foyer. Village Venture is October 27th. Is that right? Saturday? 8th? I knew that. October 28th says so right here. We do have some signups to volunteer for the booth. The booth is just, we have some of our materials out. We have a pet blessing going on with little certificates that you can participate in. We get a lot of foot traffic. There's a lot of cute kids and dogs in costumes, so it's a lot of fun. It's basically Claremont's street fair. So every vendor in Claremont practically is out there with a booth of some sort. So while you're working the booth, you kind of check out everybody going by, and then you take off and go do a little cruising, maybe a little shopping, and then you come back. We have people signed up, but there's always room for more. Don't let the sign-up sheet fool you. If there's one name and a time slot, you can join them. It's really better if there's more than one person at the table at a time. So if you can, plan on seeing us at a specific time. It just helps us to know how to staff the booth. And if you are available for setup or breakdown at the beginning and end of the day, please make sure you give us a note on that, specifically for that, so we can get that organized as well. So only a couple more weeks. Make sure you're signed up. Yes?
Next week I'll put out a drawing that shows where we are.
Oh,
That basically we are on the west side of Yale between 2nd and Bonita.
okay, the west side of Yale between 2nd and Bonita is where our booth will be, but we'll have maps out so that we can we can find each other in the morning, okay? Anything else? All right, so as a special closing today, we are going to sing the peace song. And I want to point something out before we start. One of the wonderful things about the peace song is that everybody learns slightly different words depending on where you first heard it. So as you are singing the peace song, if your neighbor says something else, just smile and keep going. It doesn't mean you did it wrong or they did it wrong. It's kind of the whole point. We're all a little different and we still all want peace. So I invite you to stand, move to the aisles, and let's sing.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our Father, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Express yourself. Express yourself. You don't never need help from nobody else. All you got to do now, express yourself. Whatever you do, do it good. Whatever you do, Lord, Lord. Do it good. All right. It's not what you look like when you're doing what you're doing. It's what you do.